Welcome back to the Sunday Show, also known as Drinking in the Dark with Frugal Tiger. This week I've paid my electric bill and we are back in business. Anyway, I want to go right into the trades I want to go right into the news of this past week, as well as give you some news to prep you for this upcoming trading week. First off, I want to talk about the cybersecurity space. We've had some major moves in the cybersecurity space. FireEye, CrowdStrike, Palo Alto Networks, talked about these stocks last week. Well, they had a huge move this week with Palo Alto Networks, CrowdStrike moving well above 15%, hitting their all-time highs, as well as FireEye breaking above $19 a share, going up 33% just on Friday alone. Overall, these are huge moves. Really pay attention to these names. FireEye, just be a little bit more cautious about than the other two names, as FireEye, I think there might be some resistance around $21 a share. The other two names, nothing but air. Let's see how these names play out in these upcoming weeks. And the major trigger that caused more money to move into these names is the SolarWinds hack and just the ongoing hacking in general across the board in the entire tech space, with Google and other names like that getting hacked. So cybersecurity, big investment, big deal. The next piece of news I want to talk about is FedEx sold off during earnings. A lot of the news was actually good news. However, the stock did move a bit ahead of itself. FedEx is kind of like a safer utility kind of company. It's only an earnings play for me. The stock in general is not the most fun to trade, so off my list. And Disney didn't really move much either from the past week. It's more or less stayed in a trading range. If I don't see it break well above 175 in the next few days, I'm probably not going to really be paying too much attention to it, as more speculative money isn't really moving into Disney. The next name I want to talk about is MongoDB. It is closing above $376 a share as of Friday. And this name is similar to Snowflake. They're sort of in the same space. They provide tech services to a lot of other software companies that use their product. Huge play on MongoDB, above 10% just on the week alone. And this was over a Morgan Stanley upgrade. So pay attention to it. We might continue to see money move in, as there is no major resistance marks at this present moment for this name. Outside of that, I want to quickly talk about Lennar. Had a huge quarter, blowout quarter, and I think this is something not everyone was expecting. I actually kind of was expecting this, because I'm trying to buy a house in Las Vegas right now, and home prices are super expensive. There's not enough supply of homes, and this is great for home builders because interest rates are very low, and with supply being not in stock, companies like Lennar, home builders, they can clean up. So it was great news. They moved from $75 a share up to $81 a share. Great percentage move on Lennar stock. I might not watch this that much in regards to a day trade, but when days are slow, I'm going to pay attention. Just going to keep this on my watch list. Anyway, Tesla is the biggest piece of news, both last week, the week before that, and pretty much the 2020 stock. I personally have not been long this stock, and it could have actually made me a lot of money this past year. And on Friday, I tried to buy it for a day trade, but before I could even get my order filled, it had just quite the push higher. And it's having this push higher mainly because a lot of mutual funds and hedge funds are forced to buy this stock because it's getting added to the S&P. So if you're a hedge fund or you're a mutual fund who needs to track the S&P, you need to adjust your assets to accommodate Tesla stock. As a mutual fund, you would have been selling some other S&P stocks and adding Tesla to your portfolio to track the S&P 500. As a result, you would have seen some volatility on Friday. I'll put up a chart of the S&P futures to kind of represent this volatility. S&P was actually dropping lower. At one point, it was down 32 points for the given day, but the S&P futures actually closed basically break even, if not a couple ticks higher than it opened. And a lot of that was honestly just due to rebalancing. A lot of these mutual funds selling other S&P stocks, which forced the price of the S&P down lower, and then buying Tesla and buying other names, which forced the price of the overall S&P index up higher throughout the rest of the day. Anyway, Tesla was the big news. It's going to probably continue to be the big news. Pfizer's still in nowhere land. I don't even want to waste time talking about Pfizer. So let's talk about this upcoming week and what I'm looking at, especially Tuesday. We have Carmax. It's a holiday shortened week. Carmax is probably one of the few earnings I'm actually watching. That's going to be on Tuesday. And we have Paychex on Wednesday. So these are essentially the only two earnings I'm really paying attention to. That's more or less it. The NYSE closes 1 p.m. on Thursday. So it's a pretty short week, not a lot going on. In regards to the really big news, it's happening right now as I'm recording this video. The federal stimulus, they're making decisions. This thing better go through. A lot of people are counting on it. If the number does disappoint the market, I am expecting a little bit of a sell-off. We are in a tremendous bull pattern right now. So any sense of disappointment, I'm expecting a little bit of a sell-off on the overall market. We'll see what plays out with the stimulus, but keep your eye on that. I think right now, you don't need to worry so much about individual stock picking. When everything goes up, you just buy a little piece of everything. That's all I have to say about the stimulus. The next small pieces of news in the stock market, I want to talk about an IPO that was totally off my radar. Upst, which is essentially an AI-driven lending platform, had a huge IPO. Their total valuation is still below $5 billion, and I might start trading this name as it looks like a pretty interesting trade. You know, you could have bought it on December 16th around a low of $22 a share at some point of time during the day, but by Friday it had closed $48 a share. I'm really paying attention to Upstart. UPST, ticker symbol. Take a look at that. It might be a really good trading name to add to your list of day trading names to pay attention to. The other name, normally I don't waste time talking about over-the-counter stocks too much. Ticker symbol OTGLY. Almost dropped 20% on Friday. This is the company, and you guessed it, the maker of Cyberpunk 2077 or 2077. I'm sorry to all the gamers that I said that wrong. Essentially dropped, the stock essentially dropped from $31 a share to $18 a share in December. I don't know what to do, but I'm gonna watch this name and I'm gonna see if it will make a great trade. Pay attention to the tape on this one, and enough said on the stock directly. But for those of you who missed the news or who aren't gamers, Sony and Microsoft said that they would issue full refunds for anyone who purchased Cyberpunk 2077 through their online stores, and Sony even pulled the title. You know, it's obviously a huge disappointment. The game is laden with glitches. There's a lot of videos on YouTube about the game showing all the bugs and all the things that have gone wrong with the game. It was a heavily anticipated game done by this Polish company. So we're gonna see how this plays out. I might not be trading this stock because it trades on the US as an ADR. I'm not the biggest fan of trading ADRs, although I do trade BABA. But I'm going to keep a lookout on this stock. And I think, with a couple of other names kind of leaving my watch list, this might get added onto my watch list. The other thing that I'm paying attention to is space. So Virgin Galactic holders filed to sell more than 100 million shares of SPCE. And this stock is having quite the move, and we're in a bull market right now, and there's a lot of people that don't necessarily care about making every cent they can in a bull market. They just want to get out at whatever price they can. They've already made a lot of money. So there's an announcement that they're going to offload 100 million shares. So the stock has come off well off its highs. It was well above $30 at one point. It closed Friday, I think, a little bit below 24. Somewhere in the $24 a share range. I'm paying attention to this stock. I have been actively trading this name, but I don't hold any shares directly of space. But we'll see how this news continues to play out, and there might be a time to get in on this. The last but not least, I kind of want to talk about Moderna, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and just getting the vaccine out the door. As far as I'm concerned, on Monday, there's probably going to be an announcement that we have 2 vaccines, not just one. This should be pretty beneficial to the market. And honestly, If you're a bear in this market, and I know I did a video a while back about me selling S&P 2850, I'm not a complete bear on this market. I don't really have massive short positions. If I have short positions, they are to cancel out other positions that I'm long. But if you're a bear in this market, I'm gonna put up the S&P futures chart one more time so you can see that this dip that happened on Friday got so aggressively bought. I even highlighted in blue the after hours action. By the time, half an hour and 1 hour after hours, when they closed for the day, they were basically positive as far as I'm concerned. So the tape is super strong and you really cannot fight this as a bear. It doesn't matter what your opinion is about the market, you do not short stocks right now. You have to wait till the price action turns negative. That's all I have to say about that. The other piece of news is Bitcoin is breaking above 20,000. I don't want to focus too much on Bitcoin. I know not everyone likes to trade Bitcoin. I actually am hodling it anyway. Honestly, a move above 20,000 is a huge deal. There seems to be no technical levels to prevent it from going higher. And although I do watch technicals a little bit and they do apply to the crypto space as well, I think the key notion to pay attention to with Bitcoin is the fact that institutional players are now in this space and major companies like PayPal, Square, are now adopting it on their platforms. The other major piece of news on Friday night, Fed is now allowing banks to buy back stocks where they were prohibited earlier this year. If you guys recall, I started really aggressively buying bank stocks. Hopefully this gives me a chance to offload all these bank stocks that I purchased. It was at one point the only thing I had in my portfolio was just a massive exposure to banks. I already started trimming my position a bit. But I might be able to easily sell everything off in the upcoming weeks. Other than that, really pay attention to overall banks. JP Morgan is already announcing a $30 billion buyback right after the announcement. That's a huge deal, and I'm so grateful. Their stock price is above 124. So I think we might see a continued rotation into value out of tech. Or we might just see a rotation in everything. That's all I have this week. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you next Sunday. I just want the money, 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 money.